So let me tell you something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him. If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind
to fight
Boots, you might as well do it now.
I'd compare it to this. Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+,
And if you just look at the highlight reels.
What about the Terence Bud Crawford fight? I'm tired of answering questions about it. He already said millions of times that he not fighting me or looking my way, so I'm just tired of answering them questions, you know. And if a fight happened, it happened. You know, I wanted it to happen, but if not, yeah.
Jaron Boots Ennis is done waiting. He's officially calling out Terence Crawford to meet him at 154. The rising star says it's time to prove who really runs the division, and he's ready to expose any hesitation from Bud. And just when things were heating up, Eddie Hearn stepped in, dropping a line that shook the whole boxing world. He stated, "Tell me a fight other than Ennis Crawford that you would really want to see Crawford in that is realistic." That one line from Hearn hit like a spark in a room full of gasoline. It wasn't just promotion, it was a direct challenge to the entire division. By pointing out that no other fight makes sense, Hearn made it clear that Crawford versus Ennis isn't just wanted by fans, it's inevitable. The tone, the timing, the confidence, it all hinted that something might already be in motion. It's the kind of talk that turns rumors into reality, and you could almost feel the tension rise. Now, all eyes are on Crawford, because if he doesn't respond soon, silence might say more than words ever could. But just when fans started dreaming about the showdown, Terence Crawford poured cold water on the hype, and his words changed everything.
Would you consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight?
Nope. I ain't going down 154.
Crawford's response stopped the buzz in its tracks. The man everyone thought was ready to rule at 154 made it clear he's not going back for Ennis. That statement flipped the narrative, leaving fans questioning whether this was strategy or hesitation. Some say he's protecting his legacy, others think he's avoiding the one fighter young enough and hungry enough to test him. Either way, it added a whole new layer of drama to an already brewing rivalry. And now, with Ennis calling him out louder than ever, the tension between the old guard and the new king in waiting has never been sharper. Even Crawford's coach, Bomax, stepped in, adding even more fuel to the fire with his own take.
No, he don't bring nothing to the table. He got our leftovers. Why would Bud want to go backwards? I wouldn't go backwards. Bud looking for bigger and better fights, so where he can etch his name in the concrete forever. I don't know, cause I really don't look at none of the welterweights since we did clear the division out. I'm done.
Bomax didn't hold back, defending his fighter with a tone that said it all. To him, Crawford has already climbed every mountain worth climbing, and going back down isn't part of the plan. But that statement only made the storyline more explosive. Was it confidence, or a sign that Team Crawford wants no part of the young lion waiting at 154? Fans took it as both, and the boxing world erupted in debate. Because when a coach speaks like that, it usually means something bigger is brewing behind closed doors. One thing's for sure, this rivalry just got a whole lot deeper. Eddie Hearn was fired up. Crawford's refusal clearly didn't sit right with him, and his reaction said it all.
Well, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Boots is the best welterweight in the world. I mean, tell me a better welterweight than Boots Ennis. Impossible. There isn't one. So, he's the best welterweight in the world. I mean, we just finished a FaceTime with His Excellency, who asked me, will we make the Crawford fight?
You could hear the anger and disbelief in Hearn's voice. He called it ridiculous that Crawford would turn down a fight with someone as talented and hungry as Jaron Boots Ennis. To Hearn, Boots isn't just another rising name. He's the best fighter in the world right now, the one who deserves that spotlight. His tone wasn't just frustration, it was challenge, almost daring Crawford to prove otherwise. The message was loud and clear, and greatness doesn't avoid danger, it faces it head on. And with that, Hearn reignited the fire, pushing this potential showdown right back into the center of the boxing world. Eddie's frustration didn't end there. After that fiery outburst, he went even deeper, breaking down exactly why he feels Crawford's decision makes no sense. Hearn started by pointing out what he believes everyone already knows. Crawford's past opponents just weren't the same fighters they used to be. He stated, a lot of those guys that Crawford fought, unfortunately for him, were past their best. Even though I rate him as a generational talent, I think he's unbelievable. There was no hate in his words, just honesty. Hearn admitted that Crawford is a generational fighter, but he made a key point. Timing matters. Many of the names on Crawford's resume were already on the decline when they faced him. It was a subtle jab, suggesting that Crawford hasn't yet faced someone at the peak of their powers. It wasn't about disrespect, it was about truth, and it set up the perfect stage for the next name he brought up, Jaron "Boots" Ennis. That's when Hearn turned his focus straight toward Boots, and his words made it clear he believes the future has already arrived. He stated, the difference is with Ennis isn't in the back end of his career. Ennis isn't coming off eye surgery or a terrible car crash like Errol Spence, or hasn't had 80 fights. Canelo is a veteran of 68 professional contests. His tone sharpened, filled with conviction. To Hearn, Ennis represents everything Crawford's last few opponents weren't. Young, fast, and untouched by age or damage. No excuses, no fatigue, just raw skill and hunger. This wasn't a comparison, it was a challenge. Hearn was saying, this is the fight that proves who's still the best. And as he spoke, you could tell he wasn't just promoting. He genuinely believed that Boots Ennis is the future Crawford's been avoiding for too long. Still, Hearn didn't turn it into pure criticism. He balanced it with respect, showing that this frustration came from admiration, not hate. He stated, it's not Crawford's fault. He would have fought them all, and he probably would have beaten them all. Crawford is a generational great. That line softened the edge, but only for a moment. Hearn acknowledged that Crawford would have fought anyone, anywhere, and probably beaten them too. He called him a generational great, and meant it. But beneath the praise was a challenge. If you're truly that great, why say no to Ennis? That's what Hearn couldn't get past. His respect for Crawford only made his disbelief stronger, because in his eyes, legends don't turn down challenges, they define them. Finally, Hearn ended with a dose of business realism and a hint that this story is far from over. He stated he's earned the right to fight anyone he wants, and he's only going to step back in the ring for a shed load of money. So we've got to do a lot on our side to make that fight as lucrative as it needs to be. Even in frustration, Hearn stayed focused. He knows Crawford has earned the power to choose, but he also knows every fighter has a price. His words hinted that Team Ennis is already preparing to make this fight happen, near whatever it takes. There was strategy in his tone, not surrender, because for Hearn, this isn't just another payday. It's a fight that defines eras. He's determined to make it real, and the fire in his voice made one thing clear. The world might just get the clash it's been waiting for. And just when the noise around Eddie Hearn's comments started to cool down, Jaron "Boots" Ennis himself stepped in, calm, confident, and brutally honest.
That's the fight that everybody want to see.
Yeah.
I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so
I understand it, but don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So
right.
I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, but don't be capping on the net. Acting like this, acting like that.
Ennis didn't hold back. He made it clear that he's ready for Crawford anytime, any weight, but it's Crawford who isn't ready for him. Still, he spoke with respect, acknowledging Crawford's greatness while calling out the excuses surrounding the fight. His tone wasn't angry, it was steady, like a man who knows his time is coming. When he said Crawford shouldn't act like he has other options, you could feel the shift. Ennis wasn't begging for the fight, he was daring Crawford to face him, and with that final line, "Fine, go get your money," Boots sent a message that echoed through the boxing world. He's not chasing, he's waiting at the top of the hill. Then came a different voice. Coach Bredman Edwards stepping in with his own take on the whole Crawford conversation.
And beat Canelo at 68. And then when he do it, people move the goalposts. So I don't even want to get into no Boots and Crawford talk. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got into Crawford and Floyd, and Crawford and Floyd is the same years apart as Boots and Wichita. Nobody ever tried to make them fight. So I don't want to get into that because I don't really know if it's possible for them to fight.
Bredman didn't jump into the hype. Instead, he pumped the brakes. His tone was calm but firm, reminding everyone that not every dream fight is realistic. He drew a comparison that made people think. Sometimes generations in boxing just don't align. It wasn't about fear or avoidance. It was about timing and perspective. Bredman seemed to suggest that forcing the matchup too soon might ruin what could one day be an iconic showdown. His words carried weight, not because they were loud, but because they came from a man who knows how boxing really works. Bredman further continued and gave a deeper look into why the Crawford versus Ennis talk might not happen just yet.
It would have been great if Floyd would have gave Crawford a shot, but he didn't, and nobody cared. It wasn't like it was a duck. It wasn't a duck. It was like they kind of different eras, even though they fighting at the same time. So I don't really know if it's possible because Boots will have to leave 54, and it's a bunch of work at 54. Crawford will have to come down from 68 and clear out 68, which ain't no guarantee. You know what I mean? It's like too much room. We got to see some more things happen.
He broke it down logically, pointing out how both fighters are at very different stages of their careers. Crawford is focused on conquering higher divisions, while Ennis is still carving his path at 154. Bredman's tone wasn't defensive, it was realistic. He reminded fans that this sport runs on timing, not fantasy matchups. There's still work to be done on both sides before that dream fight makes sense. His perspective added a new layer to the story, one that balanced the excitement with the patience boxing sometimes demands. It wasn't a no, it was a not yet. And just when the debate seemed split between timing and legacy, Max Kellerman stepped in, and his take flipped the energy completely.
So let me tell you something wild right now. I think Crawford should fight him right now if he's ever going to fight him. If he wants to, if Crawford has it in his mind
to fight
Boots, you might as well do it now. What did Floyd Mayweather do with Canelo Alvarez? Now Canelo was already an enormous draw, and that's the difference. Yeah. But he didn't wait till he got super old, and Canelo entered his prime.
No,
he got him.
Kellerman didn't talk about waiting or avoiding. He talked about now. With his usual sharp delivery, he made it clear that this is the perfect moment for Crawford and Ennis to collide. His argument brought back the excitement fans were craving. Two fighters at the top of their powers in a fight that defines an era. He spoke with conviction, like a man who's seen too many what-ifs fade away in boxing history. Kellerman's take reignited hope that the stars are finally aligning. It wasn't just analysis, it felt like a call to action. Then came former world champion Shawn Porter, a man who shared the ring with Crawford, and his words carried the weight of experience.
I truly don't know because Terence is just
somebody getting stopped.
I don't know. That this fight right here, if this fight were to happen this year, it will go down in history as one of the classic fights that go with the Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, that go with the Ray Leonard and
Porter spoke with genuine awe, picturing what a clash between Crawford and Ennis could mean for boxing. His tone wasn't about prediction, it was about legacy. You could feel the respect in his voice as he compared it to the legendary battles of past eras. The way he framed it, this wouldn't just be another big fight, it would be one fans talk about for decades. Porter's perspective gave the matchup a sense of history and destiny, as if he could already see it written among the sport's greatest rivalries. It was admiration mixed with excitement, the kind only a fighter who's been there can express. And when Porter continued, his tone shifted from admiration to something deeper. Pure understanding of what makes both men so dangerous.
It's such a special fight because you got two alpha males in the ring that are true alpha males. You know what I mean? I was an alpha male until I got in the ring with that dude.
It just
that dude, like, it was like the more he wasn't allowing me to do what he wasn't, and it was like, damn, okay. Well then,
He described the matchup not just as two boxers colliding, but as two alpha males stepping into the same space, both refusing to yield. Porter's insight hit differently because he's lived that reality. He's felt Crawford's presence inside the ropes. His words painted the picture of a mental and physical war where neither man is willing to take a step back. It wasn't about punches, it was about pride, control, and dominance. You could tell Porter knew exactly how intense that fight would be. It's the kind of raw energy that turns a matchup into a moment, and a moment into history. And then came a take that blended sports insight with pure boxing IQ. Sean Zittle's creative comparison instantly grabbed everyone's attention.
I'd compare it to this. Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford. Jaron Ennis is Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. Terence Crawford's Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Perfect. A+,
And if you just look at the highlight reels, you might actually think Vince Carter is better. You might think Vince Carter is even better.
Yeah, that's
or Tracy,
perfect.
Zittle broke down the Crawford versus and his debate in a way no one saw coming, using basketball legends to paint the picture. His analogy showed the generational gap perfectly. The young, explosive energy of Ennis versus the refined greatness of Crawford. It was more than just clever. It captured how fans view both fighters right now. The flash and flare of Ennis against the polished dominance of Crawford. Zittle's tone was playful but deep, hinting that greatness isn't just about highlight reels. It's about legacy, control, and how long you can stay at the top. The comparison left fans thinking that maybe we're watching history repeat itself, just with gloves instead of sneakers. Then came Tim Bradley, never afraid to speak his mind, and he had a strong warning for anyone getting carried away with the Ennis hype.
You kidding me right now? Come on, Sean. I respect Ennis. Listen, I respect Ennis. I love his pops. His pops is cool. His whole crew is tight. You know what I mean? Like, but who the hell is Spence as Boots fault? It's a different type. Like, you can be riding that wave. You've been getting all these knockouts of all these other different guys, but you've never been in the ring with an animal like Crawford. And when you get in there for the first time and you get hit upside your head and you see that you can't do the stuff that you usually do against the guys that you fought, you know, at the lower level, bro.
Bradley's tone was sharp, almost like a wake-up call to the fans. He made it clear that while he respects Ennis and his talent, Crawford is a different kind of beast. The way he described it, stepping in the ring with Bud isn't like fighting anyone Ennis has faced before. It's a whole new level of danger. Bradley's words carried the authority of someone who's been there, who's felt what it's like to face elite competition. He wasn't trying to tear Ennis down, but to remind everyone that highlight reels and real fights are two very different things. His message was simple: the ring will tell the truth. And when Bradley continued, his tone shifted from fiery to cautious, like a mentor who doesn't want to see potential wasted.
I would hate for him to get in this type of fight with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? I would hate for him to get in this fight and look average. Look average. Because if you go back and you watch a lot of, and he's a spectacular fighter. Boots is a spectacular fighter. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Boots. I think he's next. But he needs to be tested. He needs to be tested with a legit.
He spoke with genuine concern for Ennis's career, saying he doesn't want the young star to rush into a fight that could make him look ordinary too soon. Bradley's words showed both respect and experience. He's a fan of Boots, but also someone who understands timing. To him, Ennis is special, but he still needs that real test before stepping into the fire with Crawford. It wasn't criticism, it was tough love from a fighter who's seen how fast hype can fade in boxing. His message echoed through the debate. Talent is one thing, but proving it against the very best is another story entirely. At the end of it all, one thing's clear. Jaron Boots Ennis versus Terence Bud Crawford isn't just another fight talk. It's the battle between generations, between youth and legacy, between the future and the present. Every voice, from Eddie Hearn's frustration to Crawford's silence, from Porter's respect to Bradley's caution, adds fuel to a fire that's hard to ignore. The boxing world feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for that moment when both men finally decide to settle it inside the ring. But what do you think? Is Crawford protecting his legacy or just being smart about timing? Is Ennis really ready to take on one of the best to ever do it? Would this fight live up to the hype, or could it change the future of boxing forever? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what side you're on. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this, as we keep bringing you the latest debates, reactions, and behind the scenes stories from the world of boxing.